I still remember the exact moment the words left her mouth. We were standing in the kitchen, the evening light slanting through the blinds, dust floating in the air like tiny, careless stars. Our daughter Hannah was in her room, drawing with her crayons, humming softly to herself. She was 6 years old, bright-eyed, stubborn, and the center of my universe. My wife Aisha folded her arms and said, in a voice that was far too calm, "She needs her real father now." I laughed at first, not because it was funny, but because my mind rejected the sentence. "What do you mean, her real father? I'm right here." She looked at me, and for the first time in years there was no warmth in her eyes, only something like resolve or guilt or maybe both. "You know what I mean," she said, "the man who gave her life, the man whose blood runs in her veins." It felt like the floor tilted beneath my feet. I've raised her since the day she was born. I taught her to walk, to talk, to ride a bike. I stayed up all night when she had fever. I'm the one she calls Abba. How am I not her real father? Aisha's lips trembled, but she didn't back down. "You're her father in every way that matters, but biologically, no, and he's back. He wants to meet her." The room seemed to shrink. The walls closed in, the air thickened. "Back from where?" I asked. "Japan," she said quietly. "He moved there years ago for work. We lost touch, but he found me recently. He says he's changed. He wants to be in Hana's life." The name of that country echoed in my head like a distant bell. Japan, a place I had only known through movies and photographs, through stories of cherry blossoms and bullet trains, temples and neon lights, and now it was suddenly the birthplace of my nightmare. "So what are you saying?" My voice was barely a whisper. "I'm saying," she replied, "that maybe it's time you step aside." Step aside. As if I were an extra in my own family's story. As if 6 years of bedtime stories, scraped knees, and whispered prayers meant nothing compared to a strand of DNA. I didn't shout, I didn't throw anything. I just stood there, staring at the woman I thought I knew, and felt something inside me crack. That night, I packed a small bag, not because I had planned to leave forever, but because I couldn't stay under the same roof pretending everything was normal. Aisha didn't stop me. She stood in the doorway, arms wrapped around herself, watching as if I were a stranger checking out of a hotel. Hana ran out of her room when she heard the sound of the zipper. "Abba, where are you going?" she asked, her big eyes filling with tears. I knelt in front of her and held her close. "Just for a little while, my John, I need to think." She clung to my neck. "Don't go, I'll be good, I promise." My heart shattered. I kissed her hair and whispered, "You're always good. Remember, no matter where I am, I love you more than anything." I left before my tears could fall in front of her. 2 weeks later, I did something impulsive. Maybe foolish, maybe desperate. I accepted a short-term work contract in Tokyo, a clean break, I told myself. Distance would help me breathe. It would help me stop replaying Aisha's words in my head like a cruel recording. She needs her real father now. Japan was everything and nothing like I expected. The city was vast, alive, glowing with lights and movement, yet I had never felt so alone. I walked through crowded streets where no one knew my name, where my pain was invisible. I sat in small restaurants, listening to a language I didn't understand, staring at steaming bowls of ramen while thinking of Hana's favorite lentil soup back home. At night, in my tiny apartment, I scrolled through old photos. Hana on her first day of school, missing her 2 front teeth. Hana asleep on my chest, her tiny hand curled around my finger. Hana laughing as I pushed her on the swing. I wondered if she was meeting him now, the true dad. I imagined a stranger taking my place, teaching her new words, new games, maybe even asking her to call him Abba. The thought made me physically sick. Weeks turned into months. Aisha and I barely spoke. When we did, our conversations were short, careful, full of unspoken accusations. She told me that Hana had met her biological father, Kenji. He was kind, she said, gentle. He brought gifts from Japan, toys and sweets, and Hana seemed curious about him. "Does she ask about me?" I asked once. There was a pause on the line. "Sometimes," Aisha admitted, "she asks when you're coming back." "Do you tell her?" "I tell her you're working far away." I closed my eyes. Far away, as if I had chosen distance over her, as if I had abandoned her willingly, not been pushed out by words that cut deeper than any knife. Then one evening the call came. It was Aisha, and she was crying so hard I could barely understand her. "Everything is falling apart," she sobbed. Hana, she's not the same, she barely talks, she doesn't sleep well, she cries at night and calls your name. My chest tightened. What about Kenji? I asked. He tried, she said. He really did, but she doesn't accept him the way we thought she would. She keeps saying, "You're not my Abba is in my heart." Tears burned my eyes. Then why did you make me leave? I whispered. There was a long silence. Then, in a broken voice, Aisha said, because I was confused, because I thought blood mattered more than love, and now I see I was wrong. She told me that Kenji, realizing the damage his presence was causing, had stepped back. He had said he didn't want to take a child away from the man who had raised her. You are her father, he had told Aisha. Not on paper maybe, but in her soul. But the damage was already done. Hana felt abandoned. She had started wetting the bed again, having nightmares, asking if she had done something wrong to make me go away. Please, Aisha begged, come back, we need you, she needs you. I booked the next flight. When I walked into our house, it felt both familiar and foreign, like a dream version of my own life. The walls still held our family photos, but something in the air was heavy, fragile. Hana was sitting on the sofa, clutching her favorite teddy bear. When she saw me, her eyes widened. For a second, she didn't move, as if she was afraid I might disappear again. Then she ran. Abba, she cried, throwing herself into my arms. I held her so tightly I was afraid I might hurt her, but I couldn't let go. She was sobbing, her small body shaking. You came back, she kept saying. You came back. I'm here, my love, I whispered into her hair. I'm not going anywhere. Behind her, I saw Yisha standing in the doorway, tears streaming down her face. Guilt, relief, and regret were written all over her. That night, after Hana finally fell asleep in my arms, Yisha and I talked. Really talked. About the past, about our mistakes, about the fear that had driven her to believe that biology could replace years of love. I thought I was doing the right thing, she said. I thought she deserved the truth, deserved her real father, but I didn't understand that you were her real father in every way that mattered. I didn't answer right away. My heart was still bruised, my trust shaken. You can't just erase what happened, I said quietly. You made me feel like I was nothing, like I could be replaced. I know, she whispered, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to make it right if you'll let me. It wasn't a perfect ending. Trust doesn't rebuild overnight, but slowly, day by day, we tried. Hana's laughter returned, her nightmares faded. She stopped asking if I was going to leave again, though sometimes she still held my hand a little tighter as if afraid I might vanish. Japan remained a chapter in my life, a place that had witnessed my loneliness and heartbreak. But it also taught me something profound, that love is not defined by blood or by titles, but by presence, by sacrifice, by the simple, powerful act of staying. My wife had once said our girl needed her true dad. She was wrong. Hana had already found her true father the day I first held her in my arms and promised, without words, that I would never stop being there. And even when everything crumbled, that truth remained standing.